In the next edition of It's About Money, my guest will be Kathie Marmo, and she's the co-owner of Sweet Sammie Jane's. And they do catering, and also it's a pastry shop. It's going to be a very yummy show. So hang in there and stay tuned to see our program. Hello and welcome to another edition of It's About Money. I'm Nannette Nocon and thank you for joining us. My guest today is Kathie Marmo, and I'm calling our program The Story of Sweet Sammie Jane's, because you guys do such a fantastic job and it's so sweet. Anyway, so share with our viewers the story of your business.
Well, the business, Sweet Sammie Jane's, the actual cafe pastry shop, just opened up in July on Chile Avenue. But backpedaling, I've owned a catering business for 13 years, which I started due to my just love for cooking, and I was brought up with a great mom who taught me how to cook all her wonderful recipes, and I in turn would have dinner parties, and my friends and family would say, you should do this for a living, you should open a catering. So I thought about it for quite a while and decided to do it. It took about a year to get it going, but I kind of took that leap and did it part-time along with my full-time job. And then my son married my daughter-in-law, Angela, and she's always, same thing, grew up loving baking. And she, when they were in Chicago, went to French pastry school, and to learn technique and more, to learn more of her baking. Mm-hmm. And then they moved back to Rochester, and we collaborated. And worked out of my certified kitchen, and then about a year ago, we were offered the opportunity to open up the shop in Creekside Commons, and we've been going from there. So it's kind of how it evolved into the pastry shop / catering.
That's great. So since July 2012, you've had the shop, but you've been catering for 13
years.
Oh, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
That's great. I know your food is delicious because
Thank
we
you.
always enjoy it at the office.
Thank you.
So it's fantastic. So actually, that's an interesting concept, because the traditional notion is most daughter-in-laws could barely get along with their mother-in-law.
Oh.
When you are working together, you're
no,
in business together.
Yeah, we have great respect for each other. We're very open to each other's ideas. We meet a lot. We both have the same passion, cooking and baking, and it's just worked out great. We get along fantastically.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So in terms of your menu, you've got quite an extensive menu.
Mm-hmm.
What did you go through in terms of making selections for what you would offer?
I think the philosophy of do what you do best, and all the favorites along the years that my friends and family liked, I put on the menu. It took me a year because I really read other people's menus and tried to decide what the public would like and what I did best, and kind of bring that together. And it's funny because it turns out that people kind of order all the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
The grilled chicken, the chicken French, the eggplant parm, all of the things that I do that people have enjoyed, that I feel I do best. So that's with the catering, and then with the pastry shop, and Angela's part, I think it's mostly, she loves classics, so she does a lot of the classic cookies, the brownies, the butterscotch blondies, and then using her technique and what she learned in pastry school, she also does cheesecake lollipops and chocolate ganache tarts and kind of those other things. And our new introduction, which has just taken off in the past 2 weeks, is French macaroons. Mm-hmm. We were
delicious.
Yes, we were in the Democrat and Chronicle, and since that article came out, it's just been great. We just can't keep up with it. So.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Now, as you look back, do you think that your catering experience prior to actually diving into it with the brick and mortar storefront, how valuable was that part of the business cycle, would you say?
As far as the shop versus the catering?
Right. Because when you have some experience before you open, because when you are catering, your overhead is really per catering you do. Right? It's not like you're buying a bunch of supplies. It's like if you have a catering job, you buy your supplies. So your overhead is really covered by the money that you make.
Exactly, yeah.
But when you open up a shop, I mean, there is no knowing.
That's exactly, yeah, I totally, yeah, I do understand because I lived that. It's funny because my shop being in my home, I didn't have a lot of overhead. I mean, I made sure I did everything the right way. I through the health department, and I wanted to make sure I did that. It was small and just me in the beginning, so everything was purchased. And then as I evolved, I'd buy little things here and there to meet, whatever the job required. But starting in an actual business, of a location, we went from just 2x4s and gravel floor to developing this pastry shop and buying equipment and tables and chairs and buying food that we needed and products for baking. And so it was a total different experience, and I have to say I'm very proud of the way it came out. It's just turned out great. Yeah,
that's terrific.
Yeah.
So really, while you were starting the shop, if you will, you still had your catering contacts, so that part of it really kind of continued. Spilled into it, and then just kept it going.
It did, and then what we did also was we actually were in the Chile Public Farmers Market. We kind of marketed ourselves through the market to say. So every Saturday we were there at 6 in the morning, and this is while the shop was evolving and developing and they were building it. So we introduced our products at the market as well as with the catering. So that helped also.
I see. So kind of give a taste and then.
Yeah, and then we would tell people, and then when the shop did open up, if we didn't have exactly what they wanted, they'd just drive down the street and go to the shop, and so it worked out great.
That's beautiful. So how is the ownership then? Is it an even split between you and Angela, your daughter-in-law? That's great. Yeah. So that was an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
There's two of you, 50-50. So
right.
Anyway, so you say that you guys communicate a lot, but do you have like certain responsibilities? Like she'd gone to pastry school, Angela had gone to pastry school. So does she do most of the baked goods and you do most of the catering?
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
I see.
And she's taught me quite a bit, and I've taught her a lot, which is fun too. We're always, if we get very, very busy, even though she has her own duties and I have mine, we back each other up, and we can kind of cross cover, I guess you'd say, as needed. So that's good too.
That's great. So you basically have your primary responsibilities, but then because you've trained each other, you cover each other.
We cover each other, which is great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So when would you say that you started producing income for yourself, that you say, okay, because you resigned from your job. You were doing...
I just did. I was working for 20 years, and I just took this leap of faith when the shop... I was actually doing both for 13 years, which was... People think it was hard, and I was working very hard, but when you do what you love, it's not working, So, I mean, I didn't think anything of leaving my job, going to the store, picking up, groceries, and coming home and cooking till maybe 2 in the morning.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't mind it. People worried about me more than I worried about me, but I just loved it. I'd have the television on. Sometimes I'd open a bottle of wine.
Good
One of the perks of working at So, but I loved it,
That's great. It's funny because I also work about 70, 80 hours a week in my business, but I love what I do, so it doesn't feel like work. More people are more worried about me than I am for me.
Yes.
So I totally understand that. So now, in terms of your location, how did you pick the location?
Well, we didn't really pick it. It's interesting because we weren't even looking to do this. I mean, it was Angela's dream down the road to have a pastry shop, but someone approached us and said, there's a new plaza going up, there's a dance studio already there, there's a salon, there's a spa salon next door, and there's going to be a restaurant. And it's a perfect opportunity for a pastry bake shop cafe. So we thought about it and we met, and interestingly, I thought, gee, should I leave my job? Should I retire? And I was thinking this the night we met, and then it got down to crunch time, making the decision. And I got home that night, and on the table by itself was my Social Security mail that tells you, and it was just sitting there by itself. I'm like, this must be a sign. So I got great support from my husband. We talked about it, and we just went ahead and decided to do it. So it's kind of like it found us, we didn't find it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of life's choices are like that, right?
Yeah,
The
it's just
answers
meant to
kind of
be.
line up and meant to be. So without revealing your age, that's a nice thing to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
So
I'm a
that's
young
really great.
retiree.
Yes, you sure are. Very young at heart. So, so then, what did you do? You said that was Angela likes to cook, but then she went to pastry school when
Yes.
she was in Chicago. Did she also do pastry business there, or was it more like when she?
Yeah, she actually, when she graduated, worked at 2 different venues. She worked at a bakery there, and she also worked at the Marriott and did some fantastic stuff there. So, and then she learned more technique as she went along in Chicago. And just there's so many different things that they have there that we don't have in Rochester. So her goal, I would say, is to bring more of that, like the French macaroons, to Rochester, things that you can't get. And we've actually had 2 people come in last week that have been in Paris, and we're so excited. People are coming from, we're in Chile from Pittsford and Brighton to get the macaroons because they haven't had them since Paris. So I said the pressure is on.
Yeah, that's right.
They said they're the best they've ever had. So that was such a compliment to her. She does a phenomenal job.
Oh, that's great. So pretty soon you'd be sending them online. I mean,
We are actually thinking of doing that. People have asked us to, will we do them online? Will we mail them? So that's our next step, hopefully.
Very nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
it's very exciting.
Now, what about the name of the business? How did you come up with that?
Another easy thing is Samantha Jane is my granddaughter and Angela and Christopher's daughter. Jane was my mom who taught me everything I know, so it just was the name that was meant to be and worked for us.
Yeah, it's
And
catchy.
It is, and we have a big picture of her on her first birthday with her cake. We just given her a cake, and she's got it in her hand. It's a great picture.
Oh,
so,
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Oh, how wonderful is that?
Yeah.
That's great. Now, how in terms of capital, how did you finance it without going through the details? Did you save up money? Because, you have initial startup costs of equipment, tables,
Yeah.
chairs, like you said, inventory,
It's,
how just kind of saved up money and then have it available? Did you borrow money? How
Well, double faceted again. When I started the catering business on my own, I actually started it with $1,500, which wasn't bad at all. Because as you say, you don't buy all your products up front. You buy them as you get the job. So I contacted the health department and wanted to make sure that I had everything done right, and I needed a 3-bay sink and different things that they told me to do. So I did that, and I was able to do that for $1,500. And then as I went along, I would buy different serving dishes and that I needed for my jobs. Sweet Sammie Jane's Cafe and Pastry Shop is a whole different animal altogether. So we actually took out a loan and just went from there. And
Great. So you used your personal credit history to be able to do that.
to move on to that as we grow. And
Oh, great. Very good. Very good. So did you end up going with a small business loan, or is it a bank? Or just
a bank loan, yeah.
So just go in there, complete the application. The reason I'm asking this is, some of our viewers are saying, I want to do this, but then they don't take the initiative to actually, because there's so many unknowns. So
There
you guys
is.
actually went ahead and had a business plan.
And there were so many unknowns to us. We have learned so much. I learned in the catering going along the way, but it was a lot easier because just myself. But with this particular venture, we have learned so much in the past year.
Yeah. So July 2013, you'll be celebrating your first anniversary,
yes,
right?
July, yes.
I can't believe time has really gone by so quickly.
Yeah.
So who is your typical customer?
Oh, gee, we have just all sorts of facets. It's funny because the dance studio's next door, so we get a lot of the moms and the little girls that come over. And we actually, and then from the restaurant, a lot of customers come from the restaurant and the salon, and then just through our advertising. So it's all ages, and we started a cupcake contest, a monthly cupcake contest. So it's cute, all the little girls come, and you can actually fill out, the form is a cupcake, and you can decorate it as you would like your cupcake to be, and then put your little recipe on it, and they're all up on the wall in the shop. And then we picked them out, March we picked out a mint chocolate, and then the winner will get a dozen cupcakes, a Sweet Sammie Jane shirt, and then you have your picture on the board, and then you're on our Facebook.
How cool.
So it's really cool. So that draws a lot of the girls from the dance studio, and a lot of adults love it too. So that's been a lot of fun. But just, I wouldn't say it's one particular customer. Yeah.
Well, we'll take a quick break.
Okay.
And my guest is Kathie Marmo, and she owns Sweet Sammie James with her her daughter-in-law Angela. And we'll be right back.
I am a giant panda bear loving bamboo. I almost went extinct, but I'm not because of you.
I am a grouse when I almost was too. If it wasn't for the help of the San Diego Zoo.
How about you join us?
Save it as a tortoise.
We need your help to bring species back, so bring us back from the brink of extinction. Won't you bring us back from the brink of extinction? Won't you bring us back from the brink of extinction? Won't you bring us back from the brink of extinction?
And desert tortoise.
And we're back. I'm Nannette Nocon. It's about money, and my guest is Kathie Marmo, and we're talking about the story of Sweet Sammie Jane's, a catering and pastry shop. Thanks again for being here, Kathie.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So before the break, I was intrigued about your contest about the cupcakes, and that's cool because you get your customers engaged, and they
Right.
want to come back and see if the recipe has come up, right?
Right, exactly, yeah.
And I think that's nice that you have T-shirts and you get their picture, so they get involved as if they're part of the business. We say, oh, I
Right.
went for that particular
Right.
time. So that's really great. Now, how do you come up with other marketing ideas? I mean, how do you get the customers to think about you to, continue because you want it to be a repeat business, right?
Right. We do a lot of emailing, Facebook. That's a great, way to contact all sorts of families and friends, and that generates into their contacts. We, as I said before, we're at the market, so we kind of, we're able to reach a lot of people in our area that way. We have flyers for Valentine's Day. We did special cookie trays. For the holidays, we do cookie trays. So we put out flyers. And then as I deliver catering job, I do a lot of lunches for pharmaceutical reps.
I see.
So I'm able to go to different offices and pass those flyers out to not only the reps, but the people in the offices. And that's a great venue as well, or a great way as well. What else do we do? We have, special promotions within the shop that we do.
And you got interviewed in the newspaper. which is
Yes,
great.
the Democrat and Chronicle did an article on us last Thursday, which was great, and that helped so much. Our phone was just ringing off the wall after that. So that was, they actually contacted us, which was wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
basically in business, it's not just about having a great product, a great service. It's really about knowing how to let others know about your business. Because your
Yes.
customers may find you accidentally, but that's harder to do.
It is harder to do, yeah.
So it sounds like you've got some strategic ways. You kind of use your personal network, maybe the family network, let them know about it. Yeah.
And we're trying to do it more economically right now because we are new, and it is, money is, we have to watch where our money goes, and, so we're trying to do it without spending thousands of dollars, which I know you can do, but for now it's worked for us.
I mean, frankly, word of mouth is a great way to do
Word of
marketing.
mouth, we are so, in tune to that because word of mouth can make or break you. I really believe that. So we're,
Especially in our community in Rochester.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, it's a large, small city.
Yeah, right. And then it's nice that we have this kind of social media, like using
Yes.
Facebook, and so you probably have a lot of friends and people who like.
Yes, and I love that they can, respond back to us as well. So that's always fun to get comments and, yeah.
Good. That's very good. So basically, when you deliver, I'm sure you drop off a menu so that they know. That
Right.
To remind them that next time they could order other
They can
things, or they
order.
could just repeat what they've ordered.
And I also, when I go to a certain medical building, I will go to other offices and I stop in and bring my menu, and people are always very happy. I think food makes everybody happy, and when they see the bakery items, they get very excited and thank me for bringing them in. So that's another way, just kind of, walking around and passing out our menu.
So do you see some peaks and valleys in terms of the catering business, in terms of the pastry business? I imagine there's certain holidays that the pastry business might be busier.
Definitely, and slower. So right now, Mother's Day, actually Angela is supposed to be here and she can't because there's so many orders. So as the holidays come, we get very busy. And then the valleys are after the holiday or spring break, we notice.
I see everybody's gone. No one's
Everybody's
around.
gone, and you get being a new business, a new shop. We get very nervous.
Like,
what
oh,
happened to our
yeah, the
customers?
phone's not ringing.
And you kind of panic a little bit, but then it just peaks right up again. So
Great.
yeah,
So it's good to understand that because you don't want to be in a panic mode. But then I think those kinds of times in a business make you work harder, and then that effort for making sure that kind of
Right.
reduce the peaks, the valleys. I mean, that helps for strategizing for later.
Exactly, and you do have to strategize that. You can't look at every week or even every month. It's almost better to look at a quarter to see, just because of the way, it's just the nature of the business.
Sure.
So,
From
yeah.
week to week, like you said, if it's spring break, it could be like, nothing going
Yeah,
on.
you can't let that get you down. You have to, know that the next week, which does happen, you can't even keep up with it. So, yeah.
Now, what about time management? How do you manage that? I mean, it could be that you would be deluged with a number of different catering jobs. Do you limit the catering jobs? So if you all of a sudden got, I don't know, more than you can handle? Or
Yeah.
do you say, well, we'll just take on the business and just plan for it accordingly?
Yeah, we do that mostly. I don't like to turn anybody down because we're new with the shop and the catering. Actually, I'm not doing it part-time anymore. I don't have that extra income of the income of my full-time job. So this is my full-time job now. So, I mean, we've had as much as 4 lunches in a day. So what we'll do is try to strategize where the locations can I do 2 to 3 myself. And I will work with some of the pharmaceutical reps and say, well, do you mind if I deliver 15 minutes earlier? So we try to strategize that way. And then we do have people that we contract out to help us deliver if we need to. So that
great.
works out great.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it's nice that from time to time you can call on others.
Right,
to
they're
help
on
out.
call, and other people that are retired and are very glad to help us out. So
Yeah, because I mean, in terms of meal times, you really don't have a lot of choices.
You
can't
don't.
say we're going to deliver your lunch at 3:00. That's not good
Exactly.
for customer satisfaction.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And it is, I mean, one of the reps said it very well. She said, I don't care how good your food is, if you're not on time. And I totally understand that. So I've always kept that in the back of my mind to make sure we're there. And
Right, right. Yeah, because I can imagine, especially if they're feeding their doctors or whatever.
right, they're on a very tight budget or tight time restraint. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, as you look back, is there anything that you would have changed to say, or is everything gone the way you wanted? But you look back and you say, gee, if I could only do it this way or done it this way, or do you just kind of move on and?
No, we've definitely. I think we could have done a lot of things different with the shop. With the catering, it is what it is. But with the shop, one thing we did make a big change is we actually were doing everything out of the certified kitchen and trying to bring stuff up to the shop. And it just got to the point where you just couldn't keep up with, the back and forth. So we actually moved all our tables up to the front and put a window. And Angela now bakes up there, so we moved all the baking equipment up there, and our customers love it. They sit and they watch her bake, and the smell the aroma is amazing. And in the summer, the winter, sometimes it got hot in there, so we'd leave the door open. It would draw people in, the aroma of the baked goods and that. So that is one, big thing we did that worked out well. I think all in all, it's gone very well. We're very pleased, but that was kind of something we wished we had done before. We would have laid it out different, but it turned out great. So
Because you learned from it, and it sounds to me like you guys observe what's happening, and then you just kind of adjust.
Yeah, we do, and I think you need to do that in business. You can't just go in and say, this is the way I want it, this is the way it's going to be. Your customers almost will kind of tell you, in a way,
We have to listen to it, so
and
that's
you have to listen, and,
Yes.
and they have great suggestions too, and so I think all in all, we're happy with where it is, and hopefully we'll evolve into everything under one roof. That's our hope for the future. So.
Very nice. That's great. So as you look into the future, coming close to your anniversary, being on your anniversary in July 2013, what do you hope to see, and what are your dreams and Angela's dreams in terms of where do you take Sweet Sammie Janes?
Well, as I said, we're hoping really to have the catering and the baking all under one roof, along with a front, a little restaurant type area. Of course, more customers, and just hopefully grow the business so we can offer jobs to more people, which would help the community. And I think just to be more known, and we're just excited about what we do, and we're just so excited to bring it to the public, you know.
And then maybe do the mail order business.
We're very excited about doing that too. We're looking into packaging and hopefully, that type of thing. So that's another learning experience.
So you'd have to tell me about that, because I always wonder, the cookies, they're nicely, but then if they get shaken, they kind of turn over and they don't
got
look
a
as
mind of their
attractive.
own. Yes. So that's another thing we're always looking into doing, new things, and that's the next step, is to make sure that we do that the right way.
Yeah, that's great. So then I have a personal question. So you're cooking practically most of the day. When you come home, do you feel like cooking for yourself, or do you just
No. You can ask my husband.
So that kind of suffered
That's
after.
kind of the big joke in the family is, she cooks for everybody. She doesn't want to cook for me. But it's like, you want dinner? No, but it's just now the two of us. We had 3 children, and they're all, married and that. So it is the two of us. And I think it is hard just cooking for 2 people.
Sure.
But to be perfectly honest, there's times I just want to have a glass of wine and a cheese and crackers. But I do cook for him,
Actually, it's kind of
For us,
funny. I was listening to an interview of a very famous chef, and then asked, like, so if you were, in your last meal, what would it be? And said, a cheeseburger.
Exactly.
All these fancy meals, just get down to the
Exactly.
cheeseburger if that's my final meal.
Yep, cheeseburger and fries. I hear you.
That's right. That's right. So maybe you should prepare for 1.1. So there's 10% extra for.
Exactly. Yeah.
So whatever orders today is what you'll get. So
Yeah.
Well, very good. Thank you so much, Kathie
Well,
Marmo,
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's been a delight to hear about the progress of the business and how it's evolved and what it's going to do in the future. I wish you and Angela the very
Thank
best. And again, it's a unique story to have mother-in-law and daughter-in-law working together and having a ball.
Yeah, we are. We're having a great time. So thank you so much.
So, thank you. And thank you, our guests, for listening and watching our show of It's About Money. We had the story of Sweet Sammie Janes with Kathie Marmo. She's the co-owner with her daughter-in-law, Angela. Until next time, I'm Nannette Nocon.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you have any questions for It's About Money, please email Nannette at nnocon@aol.com. This program was produced through Penfield Community Television in Penfield, New York.